Downtown Nashville as we get ready for the NHL draft, day number 1 on Wednesday at Bridgestone Arena. Here's General Manager Craig Conroy, and our first opportunity to see you here in Nashville. And, I know you guys are busy and staff is all in and you're going through some meetings, but maybe just, take us into the room now and, kind of some of the emotions, some of the excitement as you get ready for the big day tomorrow.
It's always, you put so much, the amateur staff especially, and myself included in that, put so much work in getting ready for the draft, watching the players, from the combine. Really, it's about kind of tightening up the list right now, all the different scenarios that could happen draft day. You want to be ready for those, whether maybe you move up, maybe you move down, trying to find the best player. And then, if you can pick up some picks along the way, that would always be nice too.
Well, and Todd was just talking about, we've heard a lot about it, the depth of this draft and some of the talent that's available. How much excitement is there when you go through that list and you see, obviously there's some scenarios and a lot of things can happen in terms of, how that order goes, but just about knowing that, at 16 especially, you have a chance to make a real impact here.
Well, you do. It's interesting because we have 4 or 5 guys that we think might be there, but you just never know. After the top maybe 5 or 6 guys, the draft can go in different directions. So we just wanted to be ready for anything. But you do feel very happy that you look at those 5 or 6 guys that you think might be there, you're going to get a good player.
Yeah, absolutely. And maybe just we'll depart from the draft a little bit here, and it's been noteworthy in terms of some of the work that you've been getting done. We'll start with Jerome because we haven't had a chance to talk to you since then. Obviously, spent some time with him, bringing him on board officially. You talked about it a little bit. What's it been like having him in the room now?
It's great. It's kind of gets an outside voice too that hasn't been around all the time. So to hear he's got different thoughts than all of us, and it's just to have him to know he's got your back, and we're going back and forth, and we're trying to get stuff done, but it's not as easy. He's like, it's not as easy as I thought it'd be, Craig. So, but it's nice to have him. We went to the awards last night to see Backlund win, so it's nice to have Jerome back on board.
And it's, he was saying, it's eye-opening for him too in terms of he's got a learning curve just like you went through originally. But those conversations, and I would imagine the more opinion, the more opportunity for those discussions, the better, right?
Well, he's got a good he's always been involved, even though he's not involved.
Yeah.
He knows players, he knows the league, he knows drafted play. He's got it all down, and he's got ideas. He's got some different ideas, which is fun because then we bounce stuff off each other, and with the whole group. And all we're trying to do is get better here. We're trying to get better and move forward. So it's good to have Jerome on board because I know one thing: he's always going to have my back.
You mentioned Michael Backlund. Thought about him taking home that award last night. Obviously, so much pride and obviously some big smiles and some emotion there as well.
Oh, I know. I thought he was going to break down there when he first got on, but you know what? Well deserved. First of all, what he does over the whole time he's been, Frida, him, they go above and beyond because they just love it. Like they said, if they can give back, they do any chance they get. And the ALS, with Chris Snow and it's amazing what he's done and what he does for the community each and every day. He's a special person, and he deserved that. And I was so happy to see how emotional he was up there, looking at his dad and Frida. It meant a lot to him.
Well, and he was talking about just that connection and the pride with the city too. You were here for a long time too as a player, and now in the staff. But it's hard to put words on that in terms of just that connection between the people and the city, and what you can do as somebody who's prominent and plays a role like that.
Well, Calgary's a big city, but it's a small city. Everybody seems to know everybody, and when you go to these charity events or you do anything in Calgary, nobody supports the stuff like the people in Calgary. The way they give back, it's second to none. I think sometimes people say, well, Calgary's an amazing city, and that's what I think. Them kind of seeing that last night and the way Back spoke about the city, but the people are great everywhere you go, and they love their Flames. So it's fun to be a part of the Flames organization and being in Calgary.
Well said. And one last one for you, and that's just on the rounding out the coaching staff. Obviously, Dan Lambert and Mark Savard joining in. Maybe just a thought as you kind of went through that process and rounded it out with Husk.
We were kind of looking for a couple guys that, different voices, different kind of come into the locker room to help with the guys that are there. But I think we made 2 great hires. Though Dan Lambert, I've heard nothing, especially being in Nashville.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, people are just raving about him. And obviously I know Savvy, and Savvy's going to bring some life and character to that room. And he's got a cocky little swagger that you love. So, he's coming in and he's got the right attitude. And I think it's just the staff seems really good right at the start. Can't wait to see them get in there and camp in September.
One last one before you leave. Just sort of how you approach the next 24 hours or so before the first round, and just sort of what you kind of hope to have accomplished, both discussions internally and externally.
Yeah, I'm on the phone making calls. I mean, it's picked up the last couple days, obviously, and we just don't want to do something to do something. You want to make sure it's right for the organization moving forward, because this is a pivotal time, but you can't just do something to do something. So, yeah, just keep working the phones, talking to different teams, and then, it looks like the draft list is coming together nicely, and I'm looking forward to the draft, too. I mean, the draft's always one of my favorite times of the year.
Yeah, well said. It's looking forward to it as well. Congratulations on all the work, and we'll look forward to it tomorrow.
Thanks.